Well, holy smokes, God is awesome. It has been a fantastic day, and I don't know about you, but have you ever felt like you're facing a giant? Like you just want to do something, and it's like every freaking thing that could go wrong is. That's when you know when you're on the right path. And there's been things that were going phenomenal in August, and now it's a new month, and it's just weird. Weird. I can't even explain it, and I don't want to, because if I understood it, it would mean I'm focused on it, and I can't wrap my head around it. And there's other things, like what just happened and what is going to happen tomorrow. We just finished the New Media Summit. Big shout out to Steve and Kelly and Duff and the team. It's been phenomenal already. I know we got day 2 tomorrow. And I reached out to someone yesterday. Told her I'd call her tonight after the event. And I just got off the phone with her and her husband. Lisa, Frank. I told you I was tearing up on the phone, and just what you were saying. I know this is the right thing. I thank you both, and it truly is an honor to have Frank on the show tomorrow. And I'm probably not going to be able to get through. I can pretty much guarantee. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm already tearing up, and I can't wait because his story needs to be told, and we're going to tell it. And Lisa, we're going to print it. And that is the gift that God gave me. And this is also surreal for me because 2 years ago, I called my first guest, Tony Bernard. And Tony, I know you'll see this, and I want to thank you too, because it's a very funny story. It's not funny, it's an interesting story. It's a great story, and I love stories like this. And there is a new story that happened last night with something I'm doing that you'll be hearing about in the future, and it was a friggin' nightmare. It took an hour and a half to do what you could do in about 20 seconds. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But I also knew, again, like I just said with Facing the Giants, you're on the right path. And truthfully, 90% of everything I've done this week I didn't want to do, but that's also part of the reason I know it's the right thing to do, because if you can suspend your ego and your own premeditation, preconceived notions, your bias. See, marketing is simple. Stick with the simplicity. Yes, I'm an altruistic, ethereal. I see things. No, keep it simple. I sent out an email because I was doing radio interviews for my new book. And Tony replied to one of those emails and said, I'd love to come on your show. Well, it wasn't my show. But I told him, if and when I have one, I'd be honored to have you as the first guest. And when I decided to, I picked up my phone around 8 o'clock on September 11th, 2018. And that is the exact time we are going to be roughly airing Frank's episode. We're going to film it tomorrow. And I just got to check this one more time, because even in the midst of me talking about facing the Giants and stuff going wrong all week, all the episodes are fine. Actually, the last month and a half, they've been fine. And now, this isn't going to my personal page, which is fine because it's going to the other places, and I can just share it. But it's just interesting to me. You know, you have to have that room of, hey, stuff is going to go wrong. And it's not even on here either. No, 5 minutes ago. Good. So it is working. How stupid. And this is why I said in my video podcasting for profits talk at PodFest, don't worry about what all these things do. Just make sure you get a good episode, and that is why I have a redundancy and always record, because I don't care if any of these pop out. It doesn't matter. Whatever. It's not even working. It should be 2 clicks. You don't want to have the show's production at risk ever. It's not, whatever. If you have something on your heart, go for it. It might not make any sense, and that does not matter. It doesn't make one iota of a matter or one whatever of a matter, and I'm going to behave a little bit. And you just need to get it out there. You stay focused. I don't want to. There's a lot of good stuff happening, and I'm excited about it. It's not. It takes work. If you can't decide on part 1, you're never going to get to part 2. It's as simple as that. So make a decision and go to the next one, and then make another decision. And if it goes great, keep it. If it doesn't, redo it. It's not like you only get 7 tries for the rest of your life to do something. Screw up fast. When you can go faster and screw everything up and then fix it before anyone noticed, you're doing something right. And the sum of that is, yeah, maybe it took you all last Friday night to work on something over 4 or 5 hours for 60 seconds. And there was dozens and dozens and dozens of trial, and this is not a hypothetical, it's what I did. But when it's all said and done, and I haven't released it, maybe I will, maybe I won't. It wasn't. Actually, I think I may have released it. I'm just not here. Anyway, the point is, you just have to give it a shot. You can't steer a parked car. Give it a shot. So I'm going to, I guess, keep this briefly. I'm going to, I was going to say check for comments, but this isn't on the main page that gets the most engagement. You know what? I wonder if it would have, whatever. Worry about the details. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. Plain and simple. Move forward. It'll work out. Call to action. Always have a call to action at the end. I want to invite you to join me tomorrow night between 8 and 8:30ish. If you're watching this right now, it's... Should I date it? I can't think of when I'd use this. I could have turned it into an episode, but it's... Whatever. Normally I don't like dating stuff because in podcast and video, it kills the evergreen content of it, because there's a lot of good stuff I just said that is applicable like 10 years ago when I first started saying, and it's going to be applicable 10 years from now, and I'm probably still saying it. And the second I say it's September 10th, 2020 right now, 8:15 at night, and it's not a coincidence, and tomorrow night and 24 hours from now, we're going to have a special guest, one I've been looking forward to for probably 3 or 4 years, even before I had a show. Yeah, because we got connected, and I'll never forget sitting in my upstairs, typing out an email, and Stephanie, my niece, she actually helped me find him. I remember. And we got connected on Facebook, and then his wife reached out, and we stayed connected, and I just got off the phone with them. And it was kind of fun because she remembers my live streams and my Facebook lives before I had my show. And I always wanted to do something because he's part of my story and I'm part of his, because on September 11th, 2001, especially if you're in the U.S., you know that some heinous attacks happened on our country, our great country, to destroy freedom. Replay that real slow. And I will never forget being up north with my choir class, and we thought Mr. K was making a joke I was on the canoe with my friend Derek, and we came back to shore. And we thought he was playing a joke on us. And then one of the camp people came up. Camp Seagull was banned. Camp Choir Camp, whatever it was called. And then one of the camp rangers came up, and he started saying stuff, and I'm like, he either is winning an Academy Award for acting or he's not. And then someone else said something, and I'm like, okay, I don't think he's an Academy Award winning actor. I think this is real. It turned out to be. And that was in September. No, 2001. And then in May that year, we went to New York for what was already scheduled as the New York trip. That's the big elaborate name I just gave it. But something was different, and you'll have to tune in to hear the whole story. But it was very memorable for me. I have never forgot it. I never will forgot it. And I'm very honored to have Frank on the show because he was one of the construction workers on the site at Ground Zero. And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. September 11th, 2020. 18 years later. So I invite you to join because I have had some pretty well-known people, New York Times best-selling authors, CEOs, and very, 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 very great people on the show so far. And I will have to say that I already know this is going to be one you do not want to miss. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to even do this. Because it's one thing to, first off, you have to have it in your heart. And there's so many good people out there, and that's why I've been running my mouth about business ever since I started one at 12. If you have an inkling of a dream, just go for it. It's probably going to get screwed up. I talked to someone else yesterday. I'm going to bring him on the show. He's 24. Brandon, I know you'll see this too. You're a freaking rock star, and you're light years ahead of where I was at 24. Stick with it. Don't change anything you're doing. If anything, just do it faster. And you'll have a decade that I didn't. I don't regret anything, though. Because now I have new opportunities. I've had plenty of opportunities, but now I have new ones, and I'm able to do stuff I used to think about. And there's people I used to go to their speeches, and now they're asking to be on my show. And I only told a handful of people a long time ago. I would joke around, and even when I started my company, say, Walt Disney gave me a good starting point. Al Pacino's going to ask for an invite to my party, and maybe I'll let him in. Robert De Niro. And I just started rattling off all the biggest and best names of people I admired and I thought were great actors or authors or business owners or whatever, and I just flipped it, and it was like, no, this is my world. Maybe I'll let you in it. And there's an episode in there in and of itself. Because I was never included. I always felt left out. And I hated it. And I saw other people that felt the same way, and I had no idea how to fix it. I had no idea how to help. So I started creating some, and the answer for me was business. The answer for me was just helping. And you can make a business around it. because I had a business in high school, but it was lawns and maintenance and power washing and stuff like that. But I was helping people, and I'll never forget that, because if you care and people can sense it, they're going to go to you. And there's a whole thing. I mean, I'm not going to give you a 20-year dissertation between how it weaved into band, choir, church, business, this, that, the other thing. I pretty much talk about in every episode. But you never know where it's going to go. And the first 10 or 20 episodes, I was freaked out, mainly because I was learning what to do. And there was one episode I did recent, kind of nerve-wracking. Arguably one of the biggest guest I've had so far, and that's why it was. And but it's like, I know what I'm doing, and I don't even care if I can't keep it together tomorrow, but I just want to invite you, because Frank is a great human being. And I'm going to call the episode American Heroes, because he is just that, and it's an honor. And I thank God for even putting the show together and giving me the vision 2 years ago, because I would have never orchestrated this. There's no way, and there's stuff still happening that there's no way that it was even on my radar. And it doesn't need to be, but I'm not so dense to ignore it and not follow up with it. I can do that. I'm going to pray that it just keeps being easier and easier, and I just make the right decisions. I mean, if all I got to do, I don't want to make all the decisions. It's exhausting and tiring, and it usually doesn't work out. So I invite you to tune in, because it's going to be the best episode I've done so far. That I can guarantee you. And this is after 200 of them. And I have high reason to believe it's going to be that way for a long time. And it's not to say anything against any of the other guests, but I would be saying the same thing. Well, I am on my own show, episode 0000. So even one of my interviews is on there. Not interview, but I'm whatever. Get your priorities right and realize some things. It doesn't, this is all well and good with the fanciness, but, God, health, family, business, in that order. Too many people have it jacked up. And we're going to be talking about all of it, because it's my show and I already told him to say whatever he wants. So I hope you tune in tomorrow at, let me just say 8:15. I know I said 8 earlier, but if we connect at 8, I always do build in. And if you have a show, build in some time to test all this jazz out, because it doesn't always work out. If you watch this till the end on my personal page, I don't know why it was messed up. This is the recording, because I do that. So the times might be a little bit off when you're looking at it, but just tune in tomorrow. That's going to be the one you need to listen to. I just wanted to pop on here because, well, I was on the New Media Summit and I was on camera, and I'm not at the beach or on the boat, so I had a shirt on. And after the call, I was like, forget everything I was going to say. Run with this. I always ask God to anoint my words and give me discernment, and it basically doesn't matter what I say. It's not that important. It was just going to be something. This is far more important. So check out Frank tomorrow. It's going to be awesome, and I already know it's going to be a 2-parter. It's going to be uncut, uncapped, and there's no time limit, so it's going to be good. Thank you, God. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Expert Authority World, for just tuning in, because I had 3,000 plus episodes, 3,000 plus videos that I either uploaded my phone in 2009 to say something positive, or live streams when they started, long before the show. And then something changed, and I pray that it does in you too, because I know you have something to say, and you might not be saying it with the platform you should have, or as loud as you could be. It doesn't take away from anything. And I've had another realization in the last week or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 this year. If you felt it early on and you thought you had to change something, don't fall for everything, because a decade later, the truth might be you were right all along. You just weren't as well known, and the person you were looking up to was well known, but it doesn't make them a better person. You had it all along. There's a difference between heart in your message and the size of your audience. One is marketing. Heck, one of them you can buy. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't mean that there's people out there with large platforms that aren't a good people. They're all coming on the show. And it's one of my criterias, and I'm getting more vocal with it because, like I've posted on Facebook before, it's not that you're not qualified. It's just that I don't like you. We're going to end on that high note. Go team.